Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Casler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. This is kind of a follow-on to one of the Dayton pictures that I showed in all the Dayton stuff that just came out. I bought this, thinking that what I was getting was a singular, what do they call it? Baofeng UV-5R Mini. I thought, well, that'll be fun. It was only 30 bucks. So I opened the box, and lo and behold, here it comes, the Baofeng Mini. And it is a tiny little thing. Of course, I have big hands, but still I can get my thumb all the way around that thing. This is basically a UV-5R, but they've done some things to make it work a lot better. They've got a VM, which is VFO or memory, although they call it frequency mode and channel mode. All right. Okay, this is the UV-5R. It's Baofeng. It's got a color screen. Okay. And I need to recharge. Oh, no. It just says that channel is low power. Okay. Now I've got a few channels that I've put into this. Low power, high on 440. This is high on 2 meters. And here is low power on 2 meters. This is high power on 70 centimeters and low on 70 centimeters. I used that to get some graphs of how much power it really puts out. This I don't like. You've got 2 separate push-to-talk buttons. And this top one transmits on whatever's on top. And this bottom one transmits on whatever's on the bottom. Okay. But notice that it flips back to receiving at the top. This is a dual watch radio. Okay, and here's your AB, where you can go back and forth between which one you want. Some of the common menu items are in here, but these are labeled with A, B, C, D, E, F, and so on, so that you can put text into the thing here. You can find your menus, okay, and go down through the menus. There's a whole bunch of menus. This is completely reorganized from the original Baofeng. And you can actually, and this is important, you can program a channel. So if we go into this by pressing menu, we can give it a name, transmit and receive frequency, okay, and the transmit power, bandwidth. In the United States, we almost always use wideband. The receive CTCSS, which is the controlled, let's see, it's tone controlled squelch or something like that. Whoops, we lost our menu here. Okay, we're going to look at this program channel. Okay, you've got a lot of things that you can put in one place. Everything that you want to know about a channel. Okay, everything. And then when you're done, you hit return, which is right over here, and you have programmed that channel. One of the things that it asks for is which channel you want it in. Now you can get information on the radio, there's not a lot of things here. Let's see, the radio information. I'm going to press menu again, and it gives you the firmware version, the hardware version, and the radio just says 100. Okay, so we can return over with this right here. This right here is a programmable button, and it programs a flashlight. If you hit it again, you get this. But if you hit it again, the flashlight goes off. If you're going to use something for emergencies, what better than having a flashlight in your radio so you can read stuff? This is also a programmable button down here. And this is how you convert the radio into being able to receive your commercial AM. This up here, green indicates it's hearing something. Red indicates you're transmitting. And if you see, you got a little something to receive for a moment. If it's not receiving, it's just blank. And this is purely volume right here. Remember to turn it off, because one thing it does that I don't like about these radios is Unless you're pushing a button, the screen goes blank like that. Now, this is set on about the shortest screen time I can think of. I'm going to change it to a much longer. So let's see what else is in the box. We have a long strap, which attaches right there. Goes in there. I normally put a short strap on it. Here's the short strap. And here is the power cable. Being tangled up on everything in here. This right here is where you can plug in a Kenwood style programming cable. This particular one charges the battery by being plugged in here. Now that does not allow you to program the radio through this. Okay, so to program the radio, you need to get a programming cable. You may have one from a previous radio. This is one that I got from PowerWorks many years ago. We put it in right here, like this. Okay, and make sure it's pushed in all the way. Turn the radio on, and then we will plug this into the computer. Okay, now I'm going to bring up a piece of software. Okay, here's CHIRP. A new version is available. There are constantly new versions installed, and I'm going to get out of that. Now, note that for Baofeng, okay, the UV-5R Mini is a covered radio. We don't use these advertisements to download because they give you bloatware. CHIRP downloads. See, it keeps putting these things up. Download the latest CHIRP build here. You click on that, and then it gives you the one. For Windows, you want installer.exe. You can pick other ones, but let's take installer.exe. Okay, and we're going to put that in my downloads file. Downloads. And we're going to put it under CHIRP. This is CHIRP we're dealing with here. Notice how many versions of this there have been. I'm going to save that. See, that says 0731. It was released yesterday. Okay, so now let's go to that. And now we're going to install the latest. Okay, and we'll give it permission to do that. Okay, let's get this extraneous thing out of here. Welcome to CHIRP. Okay, what we're going to do is, we've got the cable plugged in, so we're going to go to radio, download from radio. It's on COM4. We know that. You can, if you want, check the system. It's a Baofeng. The last one I did was this one, so it has the UV-5R Mini. If you look at all these different radios it can do. Okay, unlike a paid counterpart of this, where you need a separate license for every radio you use, this one will do all the radios. Okay, so we turned off the radio, connected it, turned on the radio, and we'll do a download. And there it is. Look at that. Successfully downloading what's in the radio. What's in the radio is not much. Okay, these are the only channels that come programmed. 21 of them. They're all ham frequencies. And you can change, you can put a name to it, the tone squelch, the receive, and this is the squelch that you would send. Here are your standard CTCSS. 100 is used a lot, 107.2 is used a lot, okay? And the mode, FM, you can program other modes in here if you're going to listen, for example, to an AM station. Now, skip is for memory. If you want to have your scan skip a channel, you can do that. Power, high, and low. You can put a comment over there even in this. Duplex allows you to put minus, plus, split, or off. You can put the offset frequency here. This is CHIRP. They handle it a little differently. Okay, now let's take a look at the settings. Oh, before we do that, in memories here, I want you to look at, okay, I'm pulling this down so you can see it goes up to 999 memories. So there's gobs in there that you can put stations from wherever you want. The settings, these are all the little things that are in the radio settings, the work mode settings, which are VFO-A, VFO-B. This is what the thing will start with. And the DTMF and code settings, if you want, they've still got a little Chinese here they need to translate. But in your basic settings, it's everything from do you want a Roger beep? Do you want to have voice prompts? Do you want it to be dual watch? Okay. Don't mess with the squelch, please. And don't use the VOX for this. Channel A and B supply types, pilot tone, all kinds of things are in here that you can mess with. Don't use the Vox. You can disable the FM radio. There is also Bluetooth. And if you turn that on, you will be able to use your phone to program your radio via Bluetooth. I'm just going to leave that on. Now we're going to write this back into the radio. Okay, upload to radio. Now, one thing about uploading it to the radio is that it uploads everything. So if you make a change, upload it, then come back and make another change and upload it, you'll overwrite the first one. It uploads the entire package of settings, all the memories, everything. So keep that in mind. Also, you can save your settings. This saves into Documents, Ham Radio, CHIRP. Okay, and we'll just do this one right here. And we've got that saved. So now you can bring that file up and just copy that program to another Baofeng memory. To another Baofeng radio of the UV-5R mini type. Now, there's something else I want to show you. And so this is a programming cable that I happened to get from PowerWorks to program my first radio. There was a big issue with some of the chips at the time. So we got all this. What else is inside the box? Well, a second long. Here's a second power cable. Here's the manual. And here, oh my goodness, is a second radio. These were then, therefore, 15 bucks a piece because I paid 30. And so you've got two. And you can set this one up and then use it, CHIRP, write it down to this radio, and you've got the same thing on both radios. There's just one manual, however, okay, and there is no programming cable. Now, the manual is written entirely in English, and it's pretty good. Someone who is a native speaker has at least looked at this. These are all the cautions up here. Okay, batteries. Okay, functional features. 6-band scan review. You can look at FM from 78 to 108. This is the international band. Ours is like 93 to 108. The AM is your aircraft channels. You can listen but not transmit. VHF you can listen to 163 to 174. And the UHF 400 to 520, also 350 to 390. Now your transmit frequencies are the ham bands, the US ham bands. This says 5 watts, 2 watts. I'm going to beg to differ with this one because it's not correct. Dual push-to-talk transmitter, that means 2 push-to-talk keys. And for somebody with great big fat thumbs like mine, it's easy to press both. Okay, so you've got the, with your phone, wireless, read Bluetooth. Read write the frequencies into this. Got a nice large screen, full keyboard, blah, 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 blah. Local channel storage and deletion. That means if you are out using this in, like you're helping to provide communications for a foot race or something like that, and somebody comes to you and says there's a new frequency you need, you can actually just program it right in the channel. We showed how that works. Full keyboard, 999 channel memory, one-click frequency pairing. Okay, I didn't try that. Relay function settings, frequency difference, alarm function. There are alarms that make a lot of noise. If you want built-in input method, supports editing of channel name and so on. DTMF, so if you push the send button down and use this on the front panel, not with my fingers, you won't, you can actually do an auto patch. Auto patch is long dead, but the frequency hopping function. Now note that any mechanism designed to obscure the meaning of a transmission is illegal in the United States in amateur radio. Other countries allow it, but they don't here. Side button function customizing radio scan sweep, voice control, flashlight, alarm. Okay, now to receive the AM frequencies here, you'd have to put in, like our local airport, I think is 121.8. I'd have to look that up to me. I haven't flown in so long. FM radio, automatic or manual keyboard lock, backlight selection, supports Type C charging, which is more convenient. They do not provide the thing you have to plug into the wall. So you're going to have to use one of your own. Okay, they're readily available, but you've undoubtedly already got one for your phone. So other things in here, it actually tells you everything on here. Now on the LCD display, what I wish they had is that screen right there laid out here, so you could tell what all these things are. Okay, but at least the icons are in here so you can tell them. Okay, and they tell you to charge the radio before use. It has very small charge in it. And then it goes on to talk about all the functions. Okay, and then the menu functions, how to use the menus. And the menus get you into the different things you talk to. Here's your Android app or iOS app. You can get the app and then use it to talk to that radio. Okay, technical specs. And it says 1 watt output at 16 ohms. That's actually pretty much. But for a noisy environment, it won't be enough. So you'd want to get hold of and plug in some headphones there. And it's got all the different menu functions, all the different options that you can go through. There is place for notes back here. So, do I like this radio? Yes, I do. Look, 2 for the price of 1. I had to supply my own programming cable, but I had that, and I've probably got a whole bunch because I keep getting handhelds to review. Now, there's a couple things we need to do. First, let's look at spurious emissions. So what we're going to do now is take a look at the UV-5R Mini on the spectrum analyzer. This up here is a Regal DSA 815 spectrum analyzer. I've got it set up for 0 dBm as the reference, and it goes down from there, and you can see the noise floor about minus 70 dBm. So this goes from here. This goes from here through this little sampler and then to a dummy low. Okay, and then the sampler takes a sample of the signal and sends it into here. The reason we can't go directly into here is because a spectrum analyzer cannot handle that much power. It's got a maximum of plus 20 dBm, which is not a lot. So let's go ahead and look at this at 435 megahertz. And what we see right here, I've adjusted this so that it's right at the 0. This is the second harmonic, which you can see is about 38 dB below the carrier. And then this is the fundamental, the second harmonic. The third harmonic is way down over here, so that's fine. Now, if I do it on 2 meters, I've got to readjust this so that it's all the way up to 0 dBm for the carrier. And this is the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth harmonic. And even the sixth harmonic is more than 40 dB down. So that's fine. There's no harmonics beyond that. This is 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400 megahertz right here. Okay. So the radio is okay. I think on the, let me turn this down here so we get it in. There we go. Right here. This is not quite 40 dB down, about 38 dB down. This is iffy. Okay, this is really iffy. I'm not going to say it doesn't meet requirements because this is just my test setup. Okay, they used their test setup for that. But definitely the radio meets the spurious emission requirements on 2 meters, and it's right at it on 70 centimeters. Okay, so the one on 2 meters is a little bit wacko. Let me tell you something. This is the UV-5R Mini. It does not share much with the original UV-5R, which was, from a spurious emissions point of view, a terrible radio. This is just slightly short on my test equipment, but that's okay. I think this would be a nice radio to have. Easily slips into a pocket. Boy, I'd put a longer antenna on that because that's not going to get you much distance. There are antennas that are this size. Now, does this fit the Baofeng? No, because it's male on both ends, so it wouldn't fit. But you can buy these that are bigger and put those in there to get a little bit more range. The ideal length for 2 meters would be 19 inches. And you can buy them dual band. Now, this does not work on the 70 centimeter band. Now, the other thing I want to show you is this. I'm going to use a bird watt meter. Okay? It'll do up to 25 watts between 100 and 250. That will just measure. Let me show you the setup that I'm using. I've got this plugged into this, plugged into a dummy load. Okay? These are end connectors with a series of adapters to get them to work. I just made yesterday a cable that has end connector on one end and a PL259 on the other. And I'm going to make another one of those. So I have one for each side of this. And then I also am going to make one that's an end connector on one end and a B and C on the other. All right. This is the bird watt meter I got, courtesy of Bird at Dayton. I only have one of these things. They aren't even named. These are the inserts. These go inside. And what comes through here goes through here. They pick off based on the resistors inside what they want to, which is fed up to this 30 microamp, 20 microamp meter that you can get if you've got something that goes up to 25 goes there, something that goes to 50 goes there, anything that goes to 100 goes there. Okay, so I have not yet gotten any other of these. I will soon enough. Okay, the rest is just stuff on my desk. Now, let's take a look at the results. So we have the 25 watt element that goes from 100 to 250 megahertz. All right. And this is what you get, max output. It's supposed to be 5 watts. I'm sorry, folks, it isn't. It's 3.7 watts. Okay. Now, if you go to low power Low power actually overachieves. It's supposed to be 2 watts. It's like 2.2. Because see here, this is divided 1, 2, 3. So this would be 0.51, 1.52, 2.53, 3.54, 4.55. Okay, so each one of these is half a watt. And it's not a full up to here. So we overachieve a little bit on the power that's coming out of this, but we underachieve on the max power, which only comes out here. Am I pretty sure this is correct? Yes, I did a recent video where we compared several watt meters. Okay, 2 radios for the price of one. I paid $30 at Dayton for the 2 of these, plus their accessories. Now, unless you're a politician who can speak out of both sides of his mouth at the same time, this would be one that you'd share with a partner. You could have this as a spare. You got a friend who just got his license, and you give him one of these so that the 2 of you can get used to being on the air. Stuff like that. There's all kinds of things you can do with handhelds. All right? So there you have it. Baofeng at its best. This is not the UV-5R with shrink wrap around it. This is the UV-5R Mini, which is a different radio. The menu is organized differently. The spurious responses are far better. Okay? And nice little radio, fits in your pocket, has a flashlight, can listen to aircraft frequencies, or you can listen to your moldy oldies on FM and do whatever you want. All the usual features of a handheld. So there you have it. Until we next meet, 73.